Demonstrators in New York City's Staten Island neighborhood are celebrating the blocking of a proposed migrant shelter in their neighborhood.
I think even people who are open-minded to what they call migrants coming in have understood now it's costing us.
Exactly. That's what I was pretty much saying, but he said it better.
Having accommodated over 100,000 recent migrants, New York City Mayor Eric Adams has warned that this may have grave implications for the city.
And how dare anyone say New York City is not going through a crisis?
It's your fault, bruh. What you talking about? How dare anyone say that we shouldn't have told them people to vote their way, and now they voted their way and they got to deal with what we told them to vote for? How dare they try to say that? Bruh, it's your fault, man. You told them to vote their way. You supported it. In your private meetings, you supported it. And that's the reason why everything that's in New York is your fault, because you did it to yourself. You brought it on yourself, bruh.
And here's the sad part about it, folks. When you get 10,000 a month, there's no relief in sight. And so I'm not going to search through a thesaurus and find the proper way to be politically correct to tell you that this can destroy our city, this crisis.
According to a recent survey by Siena College, the opinions of everyday New Yorkers toward the arriving migrants are also shifting.
79% of Democrats, at least 79% of Republicans, at least 79% of independents, of all those groups, all say that the recent influx is a serious problem. I do think that the migrant issue is very much affecting how voters view the president.
Muzaffar Shishti, a senior fellow at the Migration Policy Institute, also believes that this could have implications for the upcoming 2024 elections.
It is going to have some dent in the election. How much? We don't know. We are still more than a year away from elections. It might subside by then, but I think it will have an impact.
Mayor Adams has implemented several recent measures aimed at diminishing the attractiveness of New York City for prospective newcomers. However, for many migrants, the allure of the city's economy and migrant benefits remain compelling.
Obviously.
Somebody recommended me to come in here because I can get the idea of the city, I can get the Medicaid, and I can have also a shelter where I can live. If you are a new immigrant, you are a newcomer, the best city to you to live is in New York.
Not all New Yorkers are adopting a negative stance on these recent arrivals.
They are so mad. They are probably so mad at the governor of Texas. And is it the governor of Texas who sent those migrants there from Texas to New York? Whoever the governor is that sent them to these blue states, they are pissed off, man. You say Abbott? Yeah, they are pissed off. Guess what? I think they deserve it. I think they deserve it. All of these blue states that voted for this, you should have to deal with it. You should have to manage them because you said everyone should be able to come here. This whole country should be a sanctuary city. We should love everyone. This is, you call it the land of the free, home of the brave, then we should be free for everybody to come here. Well, you were saying that with your chest. You were saying it real boldly when they only landed in Texas. But now that they're landed in New York or DC or Chicago, all of a sudden you want to be fiscally responsible. That right there don't make any sense to me, but that just shows how hypocritical we can be if something knocks on our doorstep.
Many Manhattan residents have contributed their time and resources.
New Yorkers have been very, very welcoming and generous. And that New York at its core, the human beings of New York, maybe not the government of New York, but the people of New York remain welcoming, giving, generous, kind-hearted peoples.
As the political repercussions of the migrant issue ripple across the Big Apple and other major U.S. cities, the effectiveness of the assimilation of these migrants and their impact on both the local and national political landscape is still to be determined. Aaron Rainin, VOA News, New York City.
And there we have it, folks. People who voted for this mess, they should be the ones that have to deal with this mess.
On folks who think it is their right to break the law. The bottom line here is this. Every homeowner in Rockland County and across the state of New York must recognize that we have town codes for a reason, we have a fire code for a reason, and we have to protect the health and well-being and the safety of our residents and of our first responders. This is unacceptable. And I think the investigation that is underway will hopefully get to the bottom of who is behind moving migrants from New York City up to Rockland County and across the Hudson Valley. And if it is found that Eric Adams and his administration are somehow involved, they need to be held accountable. This cannot continue, period. The failure here is on multiple levels. Since Joe Biden took office, nearly 6 million migrants have crossed our southern border, most of them illegally.
6 million.
This administration, going back 2 years, was flying migrants to Westchester County Airport, long before southern states were ever moving migrants to New York. This administration was. The southern border has been overrun, and these communities cannot handle it. And so Mayor Adams and Governor Hochul, in their infinite wisdom, and the Democratic politicians in New York and New York City believe that we should be a sanctuary city and sanctuary state. They believe we should not cooperate with ICE or law enforcement officials, and they have used taxpayer funds to provide free housing, free health care, free education, free food, free clothing, with no accountability. And so what happens? We now have had over 100,000 migrants come to New York City in just the last year. They can't handle it. And let's be clear, this is not about being against immigration. I've said many times before, my wife is an immigrant. I've been through this process. It is a fundamentally broken one. But we have to have a process that works. Just having open borders in a sanctuary city, refusal to cooperate with ICE.
Yeah, they did say 6 million. And young lady, Vegas Woman 702, said that it's more like 20 million. So what is the actual number, if you guys know? What's the closest number to the number of immigrants, illegal immigrants, that crossed the border since the Biden administration started?
The right to shelter. You heard Eric Adams just a week ago. This is a disaster for New York. Now, earlier this year, House Republicans passed
thank you, Dory.
H.R. 2, the Secure the Border Act. Chuck Schumer, the Senate Majority Leader of New York State.
Thank you, Al King.
Doing absolutely nothing. Silent. What happened to those Sunday press conferences? It's an absolute joke. We have to stop this massive influx of migrants at the border. We need more court personnel to hear these asylum cases expeditiously. It should not be taking 2 to 3 years to have these cases heard. And by the way, when they are finally heard, nearly 70% of them are rejected. This is a crisis, and it requires action at the federal level. The president needs to work with House Republicans, and Chuck Schumer needs to get off his behind and do something.
Wow, he's calling you out there off the table. Chuck Schumer, get off your butt and do something. And they saying it's like 10 million, between 10 and 20 million. It's nowhere near 6, though.
Yeah. He represents New York State. Silence. It's unacceptable. So all of us collectively have to work to secure our border. And Governor Hochul needs to stand up to Mayor Adams and protect counties outside the city of New York.
And I also want to say, too, anyone that I'm coaching during this YouTube stuff, I will have you in my videos, and I will help push your channel so that we can make sure that you get over the top and that you are amazing on your own, too. All right. So email me the word coach so we can get started.
She represents everybody. This cannot just continue to be a situation where the city of New York dumps its problem on other people's doorsteps because of their failed policies that don't work. And thank God for Ed Day. Ed Day and I stood together in March, and we sounded the alarm on this issue. We were called all sorts of names by my Democratic colleagues. They called us racist. They called us bigoted. We were raising the alarm because this is unsustainable. And people are going to get
real
hurt
funny,
as a
James.
result. And thank God Clarkstown, under George Holman's leadership, was able to uncover this and crack down on it immediately. 30 people living in a 1,500 square foot home. Are you kidding me?
What? Did he say 30 people living in a 1,500 square foot home? 30? Holy shice.
There needs to be accountability and there needs to be a reckoning here. And people need to wake up and work together to solve the crisis. And it starts with securing our border and stopping this massive influx. My Democratic colleagues think building more housing and waiving the wait period for work authorization is going to solve this crisis.
Shout out to all my people in Twitch, man. Y'all already know. That's my family right there. Y'all are so amazing, for real.
It will not. It will make it exponentially worse. We need to have a process. That's the bottom line. And with that, I want to introduce our county executive, Ed Day.
Thank you very much, Mike. First of all, I would be remiss if I did not offer my gratitude to Supervisor Holman, the law enforcement personnel in Clarkstown, and the building and codes personnel here in Clarkstown. They took a very and this has got to stop. Right now, I think, this is off script, Frank, I'll tell you folks, I'm calling upon the State Attorney General to immediately open up an investigation into the movement of human beings all over. I believe it's human trafficking. I believe there's money involved. I believe it's illegal. And while she's at it, she should take a look at if it ends up that Mayor Adams is involved in this. In my simple mind, there are a number of court orders that he's held to. If he's violated those court orders, he should be held accountable, or he should resign, one or the other. So I'm up in the ante here from Rockland County. I'm fed up with this. I'm not going to stand idly by while people, because somebody's making money or somebody has the political fortitude to do something that is not a popular point within their section of a political party. That is unacceptable. If you have to wait for that to happen, turn your papers in and resign.
And I do realize that everybody in New York did not vote for this. All right. But you know what I'm saying? I'm saying the people who support the sides that are now complaining. That's who I'm talking about. The people who were real rah-rah and yelling that they believe that this country should be more of a sanctuary city. And now that they have those same individuals on their doorsteps, using up all their resources, they are the loudest ones now saying that they are having issues with those people that they wanted to be over here. Those are the people I'm talking about.